Consciousness is one of the greatest mysteries of existence. How is it that we are aware of ourselves, of our thoughts, and of the world around us? Philosophers and scientists have debated this for centuries, and today we'll compare two major perspectives on the nature of consciousness: physicalism and panpsychism. Let's start with physicalism. This theory holds that everything in the universe, including consciousness, can be explained by physical processes. According to physicalists, the brain is like an incredibly complex biological machine. Consciousness arises from neural activity, chemical and electrical signals interacting within a network of billions of neurons. From this view, consciousness is an emergent property. Just as water's fluidity emerges from the interaction of hydrogen and oxygen atoms, our awareness emerges from the brain's complex operations. Physicalism aligns well with modern neuroscience. Brain scans can show how specific thoughts, emotions, and sensations correspond to patterns of brain activity. This has led many to believe that understanding the brain at a deeper level will eventually solve the mystery of consciousness. However, physicalism faces a significant challenge known as the hard problem of consciousness, a term coined by philosopher David Chalmers. The hard problem asks, why do physical processes give rise to subjective experiences? Why is it that when you see the color red or hear a beautiful song, there is something it feels like to have that experience? Physicalism, as critics point out, struggles to explain this gap between objective brain functions and subjective experiences. This is where panpsychism comes in. Panpsychism takes a radically different approach by suggesting that consciousness isn't something that just appears in highly complex systems like the human brain. Instead, it proposes that consciousness is a fundamental feature of the universe, much like space, time, or gravity. In other words, even the smallest particles, atoms, electrons, might have primitive forms of awareness. According to this theory, complex conscious beings like us arise from the combination and organization of simpler conscious elements. Panpsychism may sound strange, but it's gaining attention in both philosophy and science. Proponents argue that it bypasses the hard problem by treating consciousness as a basic part of reality rather than something that needs to be explained by physical interactions. Think of it like this: if you start with consciousness as a building block of the universe, it's less surprising that conscious experiences emerge when particles organize into complex systems like brains. However, panpsychism isn't without its critics. One common objection is that it's difficult to test or prove. How do you verify whether an electron has any form of consciousness? Skeptics also argue that attributing awareness to inanimate objects or particles risks falling into pseudoscience or metaphysical speculation. But supporters of panpsychism counter that consciousness itself is deeply mysterious and that current physical theories haven't provided any better answers. So which theory makes more sense? It largely depends on your worldview. If you believe that science will eventually explain everything through physical processes, you may lean toward physicalism. If, on the other hand, you think that subjective experience points to something deeper about the fabric of reality, panpsychism might feel more compelling. But let's bring this debate into something practical. How might these theories influence how you live your life? Physicalism suggests that by studying and improving the brain, through habits, meditation, or even technology, we can enhance our mental well-being and cognitive abilities. It's a perspective rooted in scientific exploration and evidence-based practice. Panpsychism, however, might lead you to view reality in a more interconnected and holistic way. If consciousness pervades the universe, then perhaps your awareness is part of something much larger. This perspective might encourage you to be more mindful of how you relate to the world and others, seeing everything as part of a conscious, interwoven system. In the end, the question of consciousness invites us to think deeply about who and what we are. Are we purely physical beings, or are we connected to a deeper, universal awareness? The answer may not be clear, but contemplating these possibilities can expand your understanding of life and your place in the cosmos. What are your thoughts on physicalism and panpsychism? Which theory resonates with you the most? Let's continue the conversation in the comments below. And if this video gave you something to ponder, be sure to like, subscribe, and join me for more explorations into the mysteries of reality and consciousness.